Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Tony Barnhart from our College Football Today studios here exclusively for CBSSports.com. You may remember the fallout from Oregon's opening weekend loss to Boise State. Duck star running back LeGarrette Blount was suspended for the season after punching a Broncos player following the game. Well, this week, Oregon head coach Chip Kelly said there's a chance that Blount could be unsuspended for the final 4 games of the season if he meets certain conditions. Now, let it be known that the final decision is not Oregon's to make. The school would have to appeal to the Pac-10, which would then consider the matter and make a ruling. So what do you think of the recent developments, guys?
Well, I just hope that they counted up the cost before they pull the trigger on this decision, what it's going to look like in the end. If they've done that, I'm totally fine with the decision, and here's why. When you look at it from the broad picture, I'm talking about taking your tight perspective alumni glasses off, look at it like an offensive coordinator where you see everything. This is about the kid's long-term career and future, not on the football field, but life in general. Yep. How does he adjust to this? I think the one time is a little bit too steep to send this kid packing for good.
Well, Spencer, I'm going to disagree with you. I was all for what Chip Kelly did in terms of keeping LeGarrette Blount on the field, in the program, in school, doing all those things. But to me, it sends absolutely the wrong message. They had him on the right path. I think this has potentially disastrous consequences. I don't like the decision.
Let me ask you, though, were they sending the wrong message back in 1978 when Woody Hayes, after the 6th time, got caught punching somebody, out the Clemson player?
Good point.
And look, it finally cost him his job, but it took 6 times. There were 5 recorded occasions before that when this is the coach this Wayland punches now without provocation, unlike the case here.
Totally different world, totally different media atmosphere, totally different look.
Those were Spencer, those were the uncomplicated 70s, don't you remember? Now, here's my thing. I agree with you in principle, Spencer. I do. Okay, as long as it's Chip Kelly's decision. I talked with the coach on Thursday. He didn't tell me anything about this. I was talking to him about the alumni member that wanted his check back, and I said, congratulations on the way you handled it. He said, no comment, I don't want your love. I think things are a little touchy in Eugene right now. And if there are special interest groups and the school newspaper is writing, we want the kid back, and there are activist groups from around Eugene and maybe in Portland that are saying this is unfair, and they cave to those special interest groups as a university, as an institution. And if it's outside his control, then I think we've got a problem.
It's not about the outside interest groups. I'm talking about on campus.
We know that.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If that influences their outcome, that's why I said consider the cost in advance. Now, we know Tony Dungy's involved. Great credibility there. Dr. Harry Edwards. Some people think just the antithesis of his personality. Irrespective of what you think about those two guys, you cannot minimize the significance of their role in his life. And it's not a negative.
And the parents had lawyers in there, too.
Well,
parents had lawyers in there.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did. Well, I'm going to give Chip Kelly credit for this. They made the decision that if LeGarrette Blount comes back, it will not be until November 7th. That's after the USC game, because my first instinct was to go, oh, look, hey, they beat Cal. They're back in the race. They're bringing this kid back. So I will give them credit for that. But to me, at the end of the day, I think Chip Kelly, Mike Bellotti, the athletic director, I think they're too close to this thing. I think the president, Richard LaVaria, ought to get in and get involved. And ultimately, we know that Larry Scott, the Pac-10 commissioner, it's his decision.
Maybe the president's already involved.
Needs to get involved.
Maybe the president's already involved. That could have something to do to it. Remember, we'll be with you Saturday afternoons throughout the season right here on the College Football Today.